holding up this really cool thing. We're going to hear from her in just a minute. Let's go. That's why I wanted to okay, before we say hi, let's just get launched and we can take it from there. It's Fun Friday. We can have lots of fun. February 4th, 2022. Friday, end of the week. And so, there, Patricia has her cat. So this is a
20-pound cat that I have, and he's wanting to get back down, so I'm letting him say hi.
Whoa. What's his name, Patricia?
Pardon me?
What's his name?
Earl.
Oh my!
His sister is Jagger. His sister's name is Pearl. We have Earl and Pearl.
Beautiful. Susan, tell us what you've been holding up.
Okay, this is my cat, Calista. And she has a joke for everybody.
All right.
Oh, look at that.
For Fun Friday.
I love it.
Why did the mermaid wear seashells?
Why?
Because the D shells were sold out.
Oh, goodness.
Okay, there I go.
I like that cat. That cat
cat.
doesn't destroy your house. I've got 8 that do. So I like that cat, Calista. She's cute.
Beautiful. Crystal, who are you holding there?
I was holding Jag. He didn't want to hold on.
Didn't want to stay? Yeah, that's how it is
Yeah,
with cats. They have their own thing.
He was sleeping, so he just I'm surprised he sat that long actually. So that's good.
Who has 8 cats?
And you're looking super festive today, Anne. I love it. Is that a little like Hawaiian kind of necklace around your neck, or what's going on there? Tell us.
Just a minute. Oh, yes, it is. It's a
Oh, there
Hawaiian.
you go.
It's a Hawaiian necklace, and I'm wearing a wig.
Oh,
This is a-
and you got
this is a
the
wig.
beautiful trees behind
That's
you. They
fun.
almost look like the Japanese, but it doesn't look like they're the cherry blossom. So it should be something
Yeah,
else.
it's kind of
Oh.
it's like Japanese. It's actually in South Korea. It's a beautiful place called Nami Island. So it's
Wow.
where all the couples go who are courting, and it's all very romantic. So
Wow.
they walk through the trees. I've been there
That's
twice.
nice.
It's
Wow.
beautiful.
Just- yeah, because their
I-
trunks look different than the cherry blossoms. They're like they have more like I don't know. They look, more like a maple tree kind of looks, and then you have this beautiful
Blossom.
Oh my gosh,
Oh, I
so
see what you
beautiful.
mean, yeah.
Thank you for sharing all that. So fun. She's got a wig, she's got a necklace. We're ready for Fun Friday. This weekend is going to be something special. I can feel it. Liana, wonderful Liana. Good to see you, darling. Terry has a beautiful hat there. Tell us about is it a sombrero?
Where are we?
We can't hear you, Terry. I know you're
Where is it?
unmuted. It looks like we should be able to hear you, but we can't.
Can you hear me?
There you go.
Okay, great. Yeah. It's my birthday hat. About 3 years ago, I went to visit my daughter and son-in-law, and they took me to a Mexican restaurant, and they gave me this hat to wear. And so now every year it's a tradition. I have to take a picture of this hat on my birthday.
Oh,
That's awesome. Today is not your birthday though, right?
No, but when you said something different, this is the first thing I thought of.
I love it.
Love 'em.
Fantastic. You made our day. I love it.
I'm going to take it off because it's a little hot.
Awesome. Super fun. We got Scott here. We got Mike. Mike, I really can't see you. We can only see kind of like a blurry image there. There's Sarah walking about. Great that you made it. Meeting host is back online. Good to see you. If you want to change your name so I know who you are, that'd be great. Carlos. Good to see you, Carlos. There's Iris. Oh, that just changed to me. I'm like, I'm going to name myself. So
Got a copy it.
I hope my connection is working well. Let's see.
You got a shapeshifter.
Right? Yeah, I put it on the other side.
Got caught.
Iris, Allison's here. Evelyn, Nadea. Good to see you, Nadea. And Deborah's here. So camera off. We know you're here and listening. That's good. Who did I just catch? Oh, there's Mike. Hi, Mike. Good to see you. Let's see. We got Scott here. Double Scott today, not triple. Okay. Double. That's we'll take what we can get. Good to see you, Scott Kelly. Good to see you, Scott number 3. And Alex got the Northern Lights going.
Mm-hmm.
That is awesome. Have you seen the Northern Lights, Alec? No. Okay.
Oh,
There you go. Yeah.
yeah, I've caught a glimpse of like a fraction of a piece, but that was it.
Nice.
You know what? I've heard the Northern Lights is like the lights that are escaping Middle Earth. Is that true?
Ooh.
I think there's supposed to be a reflection too. Like we get them. I grew up in the Rockies, and you see them all the time there. They're very pretty.
I
So
wonder.
off the
Yeah.
ice caps, right? The reflection. So pretty cool.
Oh, no,
Yeah,
that's,
it's wavelengths that are always there, but just at specifical, a place, which is the polar, up on the top or down below, you have access to see that. So it just kind of shows you the dancing of the different rays and lights and the spectrum of lights that are around us. So, yep. All right, let's see. Timeta's here, and we got yeah. All right, anybody got some jokes in addition to Susan's fabulous
Mermaids.
mermaid joke? No,
To look some up.
No.
we can get
I got
straight
one.
to it, no problem.
I got one I shared last week, but
All right, sure.
it'll be new to you. So
Uh-huh.
last night I had this dream that I was eating these enormous marshmallows. And when I woke up, both of my pillows were gone.
Cute.
Goodness. Okay, Carlos says he's seen the Northern Lights. They are on my vision board, so definitely gonna see them one day. Scott, yes.
All right, I'm going to tell my famous childhood joke. You be the judge whether or not you think it's a joke or not, but what's big, red, and eats rocks?
What is?
A big red rock eater.
Big red rock. What?
Eater. What's big and red and eats rocks? A big red rock eater.
Rock eater. Sounds scary.
Awesome. All right. So anyone else before we get a little serious here, but not too much. It still is fun Friday. So we're going to keep it a light question. What's 5Q plus 5Q? 10Q or something like that? What is it? Answer, you're welcome. Oh, thank you. Nice. See, I changed meeting host, Karen. I changed somebody else's name. I knew it. Okay, let me rename myself. My name just popped up there. That was not me typing that. Okay, that's me. And let me get what I changed here. There we go. And then if meeting host, you want to let us know what your name is, then we'll know who you are. All right, that's all set. I'm going to go ahead and mute you all, but you know that you can always unmute yourselves, and we'll get started here. So yesterday we had here's Pat. Good to see you, Pat. Yesterday we had a fantastic, and Jay just came online. We had a fantastic conversation. We were talking about courage and looking at all those different aspects of it. And yesterday we were actually talking about alchemy. It was the day before. Look at all these days blending. Yesterday we were talking about alchemy. But something that kept coming up off of what we were talking about, the alchemical transformation, the whitening process, that kind of cleansing. Everyone just kind of kept on saying this word, meditation, 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 meditation. And it just kind of kept on creeping up, because as we were thinking about distilling, stripping down, just kind of making things very, very simple, finding a quiet space to be in, I think it really resonated with so many people on this level of meditation. And I think it's important, I think we had a conversation about meditation a couple of months ago. I want to say it must have been at least 4, if not more. Patricia was here. And, I think it's important to come back on occasion and revisit this word and this action, because it is in our daily mode of operation. It's something that we ask you to do every day. And oftentimes people have this idea about meditation that they might not be able to digest really well. So you have an idea of this kind of, Buddhist monk sitting with his fingers like this, cross-legged, quiet, and just kind of doing this thing, right? And that's one way to, engage in meditation. But meditation really has so many ways to experience meditation. It's not one way, okay? And this is something that has been practiced for eons, okay? Since there was man on this earth, there was this practice of sitting quietly in the forest, listening for sounds around you. Even tribal gatherings where people would just kind of quiet down, or, another type of meditation is actually like movement, dancing into this trance where you get all the energy up and you just get into the space of meditation. So this has been been around for eons, from the time that man walked this earth. And, there are all kinds of different philosophies of when that exactly was. So I'll let you all have your own idea about that. But meditation exists. Okay. There can be a walking meditation. Let's put it that way. And what is meditation? If we start with just the most basic thing of what is meditation, what are you asking me to do, Karen? I mean, what is it? And it basically really ties into that discussion of distilling, of quieting, of focusing on one thing, bring your awareness to something. That something can be, most commonly your breath. A lot of people, and this is a big conversation that Patricia and I were having those couple of months ago. There are people that'll go throughout their lives without taking a full breath of air, without using the full capacity of their lungs. This is truth. This is 100%. And she shared a personal story there as well. And so just being able to connect to your automated systems, what you do every day, all the time. Everybody's breathing right now. You see, all of you are breathing right now. Those that are listening to us on YouTube are breathing right now. But it's something that we just habitually do, and we don't bring our focus to it. We don't connect to it. And it just kind of goes on and on and on, without us noticing. And so to bring our awareness to our breath and to how we're breathing, that is the most basic form of meditation. Okay. Then, you have different forms. You could be chanting something. You could be listening to some kind of music. You could be asking a question and focusing on that answer. You see, but it's one thing. You're bringing your focus to one thing. You're bringing your awareness inward in a way that allows you to connect to yourself on a deeper level. And that's that beautiful thing, because when we connect to ourselves on a deeper level, definitely candles can be used too. You focus on the candle, I'll try to list a couple of, different types of meditation, but there are really so many. It's never ending. There is a list, galore. Yeah. But let's get into the point that I was moving towards. And that is, when you come inward, when you quiet the mind and come inwards, and you distill everything down to just one, then you can actually feel connected to all. That's the beautiful paradox of things, of life. It's the one to the many to the one. And we have to continuously practice this. It's not something that we will always remember. Daydreaming is a form of meditation. Yes, Scott. As long as you're focused, you're not like going on a ramble on your thoughts and just kind of, whatever, your consciousness is traveling. If you're in this focused space and imagining what you want and how you're getting there, and you're sitting quietly with yourself, yes, why not? It's visualization. It's what we say to do in the low-hanging system. Okay. But we just have to kind of separate this inner voice ramble of just kind of going on a loop, and the thoughts just go up on autopilot. And I'll tell you, when you sit down quietly for the first time, and even maybe for the 51st times, that's what's going to happen. The thoughts will be on a ramble, and it'll just be like, I have to get up, I have to do this, I have to cook that, I have to do, when are we going to get the kids doing that? And it's just, that's it. That's all you hear. And then what you need to do is come back to your breath. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. To answer your question, daydreaming, if you're trying to imagine where you're trying to go in life, so you sit quietly and it's inhale, exhale, and you're say, okay, I'm going to create $1 million, generate $1 million, and I'm going to buy this house, and I'm going to get, this is like a practice of visualization, and that is a form of meditation. You're visualizing where you want to go. The thoughts are not controlling you. The thoughts are not going on a rampant, doing whatever they want in your brain. You are directing it, and you are, becoming aware of what is going on in the background there as you sit. And that's the idea. Or as you walk. Okay. There are definitely things, purposeful daydreaming. Thank you, Susan. And so there are workouts, running, you can get into a rhythm when you're running where all you feel are your feet touching the ground and your breath. And it's like, and that's all that's it. That's all you are. That's all you're doing. That's meditation. Believe it or not. It's very different than the monk sitting down and just kind of, kumbaya, or whatever you want to call it, right? That kind of vision in your mind. And so, walking where you're noticing your steps and how you're stepping and how you're breathing and what, very present in the moment walking. And not again, let me just walk to the end of the road, then I'm going to get home and cook dinner, and then I'm going to go. That's not it. Okay. However, sometimes the thoughts do that, we have that, but then you just come back. It's interesting because, they oftentimes, there's this saying that, trying to silence your mind is like throwing a pebble into the pond and then trying to prevent the ripples. Once you're like, no, silence, all the thoughts come in. So that's, again, it's not a fight. It's not a struggle. It's not it doesn't have to be a certain way. It's your intention, and it's how you come to it. It's your approach. You want to be present with your thoughts. You want to be present with your breath. You want to purposefully sit down. And if that purpose is that daydreaming, if that purpose is walking, if that purpose is running, if that purpose is, Patricia gave an example of coming onto these calls, and you're purposely sitting here, not distracted doing other things, doing stuff on your phone as we're talking, or, watching something, or, you're not getting distracted, then that is a form of meditation. As long as you are bringing your awareness to one thing, you're directing your thoughts to one thing. You can put there are guided meditations. You can put someone speaking in the background. Right now you have me speaking. Okay. Sorry about that. I was doing I was just kind of like connotations of what people have an idea of what meditation can look like. Right. And I don't often like to use those slogans. So thank you for that, Jay. Anyways, you listening to me speaking right now and being focused and directing all of your attention towards me and purposely doing that and nothing else, that is a form of meditation. Because if, you could have me, I teach meditation and I guide people through meditation, and I could be saying, inhale, take a deep breath in, fill your rib cage on all sides, expand, 360 degrees. We could go through that, and you could be listening to me and you would be in a state of meditation. So it's really you bringing your awareness to one thing. Transcendental meditation, you're using a mantra, you're saying something repetitively. Vipassana is where you're silent, you don't speak. You can go on these, we were talking yesterday about fasting. You could go into a Vipassana retreat for a couple of weeks and not speak. That's another way to do things, right? There's loving kindness meditation, where you're just sending loving kindness out into the universe. Yoga meditation we talked about. So that's movement, for instance. How can yoga be a meditation? And there's so many different forms of yoga. I just had a conversation about that yesterday with someone. I practice Bowspring and teach Bowspring, but there are, really so many, and that's through movement. What are we doing? We're connecting breath to movement. Inhale, step your right foot forward. Inhale, rise, expand. So that kind of thing. You're connecting your movement, your breath, and your presence, and everything is very mindful. So it is essentially this just mindful action. And so in the low-hanging system, we ask you every day to sit down and visualize, or sit down. Prayer is a form of meditation. Okay, people gather and just really get into it and pray and for us, today's Friday. So I will, be lighting candles. And so, there's always a prayer set on the candles. And it's like, you get into the space of meditation. You're meditating with that, which is in your heart and what you would like to wish upon yourself. Right. What else can we think about different? I'll leave some open for you. There's also a really great book by Marcus Aurelius. I don't know if some of you read it, but Meditations. And in that book, Meditations, he goes into all his finds throughout his lifetime, what he considers to be the best way to live life, and like his ideas on his philosophy. And he had a bunch of kids, he's a Roman emperor. And so he had a bunch of kids, and he was like, okay, I want to leave something, and I want to set this way of living. And he wrote this book called Meditations. And it's not an easy read. I don't know if I really recommend it, but just because we're talking about meditations, I think it's a good one to look at, because I think it's nice to see that the philosophy so long ago is still so relevant today. And the things that he was able to look at, how you go, he was talking about how do you go to battle, how you live your life, how you rise every morning. Different examples. There are a lot of really great quotes. Maybe I'll find one for you in just a little bit. And, just kind of expressing his experience in written literature. And that was, pretty long ago. So really nice to look back at that and see how it lands with you and resonates with you. What else should we say here before I hand it over to you? I think, what I want to know is, what is this word, when you hear this word meditations, does it kind of, you're like, well, that's not for me, or I don't do that kind of thing? Or are you drawn in with curiosity? Or maybe you practice meditation every day. Meditation can also be done in bed, right before you go to sleep, or right as you wake up. That's often, a lot of my meditation gets done in that way. Right before I go to sleep or right before I wake up, I'll go through the things that I'm grateful in my mind, and then I'll sit and I'll meditate, or lay and meditate. And, it doesn't have to be that uncomfortable situation where you're sitting and things are starting to hurt and you're not sure how long you're going to sit. It also doesn't have to be a very long time. You can start from 30 seconds, go on to a minute, go on to 2-3 minutes. You can then, put a song on the background and decide that you're sitting until the song is ended. And all you do is listen to the song and just focus on the song and just kind of do that. Or your breath, you get to choose. And, I think making it accessible to you, making it easy, comforting, the beautiful thing that it gives us. Let's talk about some of the benefits of meditation. Okay. We were touching on a lot of that yesterday. But really it allows you to, first of all, tune in to you. Okay. Really get in touch with the true you, so that you see who you really are, and to be able to separate yourself from the noise, from the thoughts, from your thoughts and your noise, what you hear on a daily basis. We all have our own, little static going right in the background, always going on. And so oftentimes we just get used to that. That's our FM. We're tuned into the radio, and we just go about. When we meditate, we're able to selectively choose a channel. We get to choose to tune in. We get to choose to run, one song, one idea, one breath, it really sharpens your focus inside. And then that in turn translates to everything outside. It really gives you, first of all, I think for a lot of people that do meditate, they would say that it gives you a sense of connection to everything, really. That you can really get a sense, and it takes maybe some time. Everybody can maybe attest to something different, but you get a sense that you are not alone in this universe, and that you are connected to all that is, that you are this divine being embodied in your body, and that it is a gift to be alive today. It really is a present, and we know that so many others are not as fortunate. And it gives you that appreciation of yourself, because you're able to sit quietly with yourself. It's not the noise of, oh, I wish I did, or, oh, I'm going to do, or, oh, I need to do that. It's that quiet space of being. And that is, so important. It will, in turn, for your business, it will translate when you're sitting in front of the computer and you need to get something done. You can focus better. You're able to discern your thoughts, which ones serve you, which one don't. You're able to get into this space of just, really focus. That's the best word, so that you can keep on moving forward. Yeah, so that's all I want to offer on that for now. Let's hear from you a little bit. If I touched anyone, if you want to share your experiences, and what you feel, does meditation come easy to you, or does it seem like it's just so far away from you that who could even do it? Scott, finally, thank you. Let's hear from you. Missed your voice. What's going on?
Well, a lot of things been going on, Karen, but sometimes it's good to be quiet and listen more than
right after
I've
this.
been going through a little bit more of that lately myself, but I've really been confused about what meditation is, but I was with a friend the other night, and I was telling him about this group and this, and I said, yeah, you can come to YouTube and you can listen to it. I said, I think you'd enjoy it, because we talk about philosophy, we talk about a lot of stuff. He's a bit older than me. He's 100% Native American. He's got wisdom that's like unbelievable, so I was asking him, I says, I was thinking about this meditation. I was like, I don't really quite get it, and this and that. And I said, and he looked at me and he goes, well, do you daydream? And I said, well, yeah, all the time. I'm constantly in this state of, he goes, well, you're meditating. And I went, really? Huh. Well, I think, in meditation, I don't know. It's like a strange thing to me, because it's like something like I'm all of a sudden learning about something I've been doing for a long time. And I didn't know really what it was I was actually doing, I guess. And so this is like an awakening to me, kind of strange. But I learned meditation, I guess, at first. It was where I was trying to hypnotize myself to go to sleep, because if I didn't, I was going to be sleep deprived and I wasn't going to make it. I mean, I was in a survival mode and I didn't know what to do. And so I leaned to this book that someone suggested me read. It was a very short read, just told me how to put myself into a relaxed state and how to start it. And I started doing it, and I practiced it and practiced it. And before I knew it, I was going to sleep when my head hit the pillow. And I've been that way ever since. And I think because I started doing that, I started actually, I don't know, awakening something in this, going into the sleep mode and this and that. And what I've been recently recognizing since I've been learning this is that when I'm waking up, I also have this same area. And matter of fact, this one's a little different because it's like this, I'm in and out mode. And I can go back to sleep and I can concentrate on actual things that I want. And I actually will say that in my head and concentrate, almost like a prayer. Okay. And I'll call it like that. It's how I kind of exercise it. And I'm asking Jesus for his guidance. And, and I feel as though he's always been with me. And I always get this result in my life from these things that I do by practicing them. And what's been enlightening to me lately is from hanging out with Karen and John so much and everybody else, I'm learning that, wow, there's some things that I'm learning about myself that I didn't really recognize. I'm like, you really got this power in you, don't you? And I'm like, you do. So, and I used to use it in my troubleshooting and figuring out problems. And I'd go to bed with a problem and I wake up the next day with the answer magically. And I started relying on this so much that I still rely on it. And I felt like, does everybody else have this too? Can they do this? And I'm like, no, obviously not, because you're the only one that seems to be figuring these problems out. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'm making money doing it. So, hey, let's go with it. And that's where I'm at right now. Things have been going pretty wild in this area of meditation, like instantly stuff, like within a week stuff. And it's like, I'm faced with these problems. And I go, oh, well, okay, well, we'll have to do something about that. And, well, I can do this and I can do that. And I immediately start thinking about what I can do to resolve my issue, my problem. Before I know it, bam, bam, bam. And before you know, you got $2,400 just staying in your right in your hand, and you're like, okay, I didn't ask for that much, but I'll take it. And then I walk into the house last night. Guy asked me, says, "Hey, what do you want for those?" And I says, "Well, $10 a piece. What the heck?" I walk on in. Says, "I picked 15 of them out. Here's $150." I'm like, "Well, isn't that nice? Thank you." So a lot of gratitude, a lot of graciousness going on in my body. And I asked somebody, I says, "Do I look like I'm vibrating?" Because I feel like I am. Done.
I love it. I love it, Scott. See, that's great. Great to hear from you. Great to hear your experience and your transformation. Awesome to witness it. Love you dearly. And it's great to have you interact with the group. And I agree, sometimes silence is great, which is exactly what we're talking about. But, you do add such a beautiful color to this conversation. So I always like to hear from you. And, it's just beautiful to hear your journey through your meditations, because you were like, well, I have no idea. I don't know what this is. I don't want to, I don't know if I can even do this. And then bam, here you are. And it's proving it's, I don't want to say worth, but it's like, it's showing you that this is real. You don't have to take anybody's word for it, which I think is the best thing. When something is so true that you just know it, you just feel it, you sense it from the inside, that is, a gift, because then nobody has to stand there and convince you, oh, you should, I told you, I did, you just sense it, you feel it, you know it, and then you own it and you do it. So that's really awesome. Before we go to Scott here, I did pull some Marcus Aurelius quotes here, because he is so awesome. So just kind of, it wraps everything in. You have the power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. And he also says the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. So, a lot of these quotes, and it's been around, this book has been around for a long time. You could probably Google it. And if you like that kind of talk, and just look and see what he says. Scott.
Well, I guess I don't really think of it as meditation. To me, it's the way I think it's like praying without ceasing. And it's not like a religious thing where you're on your knees and closing your eyes for a full day kind of thing. But to me, I've been working on incorporating the habit of prayer, fasting, and giving. So the prayer, fast, and give is how I think through it. So it's getting alone, and that can manifest in all sorts of different ways. So it's me maybe asking my petitions to God, maybe waiting for a word to just kind of pop in my head, and that word, I get focused on that. So then I look into God's word to see, okay, what does God's word say about that? The fasting part is, when I first tried this, I kept asking myself, am I praying right, or am I fasting right? And I realized when I start doing that, then I'm trying to do it. And so what I find with the fasting, it comes naturally because it's in the morning, and I fast as long as it takes until I break my fast, which is called breakfast. So that could be in the noontime. I'm not worrying about setting a time to fast necessarily. And I'm not focusing on the fasting. It's really focusing on delighting in the Lord, for he will give you the desires of your heart. And so I might take a verse, just that morning, a verse comes to me, and I meditated on all day long. And so I might be, I may be out driving my car or something. Someone cuts me in the middle of traffic, and I want to just cuss at them or something. But I remember the verse that I read that morning that says, love is patient, love is kind, love is self-discipline, love is slow to anger. And so as I think through that, I realize I'm starting to, it's kind of an affirmation of reminding myself of who I am in God. Not these emotions that want to lash out that goes against God. So if that makes any kind of sense, that's how I kind of think through it through the day. And so in the morning, some of that will be prayer. The giving part of it is when I first was trying this, I asked God, well, what should I give? I don't have anything. That's why I'm trying to start a business and all these kind of things. He said, give what you have. Start by giving thanks, giving praise. And then, so now that's part of my routine in the prayer. I'm just thanking God. I don't care how miserable the circumstances are. I'm thanking him for that, because now my mentality has been shaping in the last few weeks in this idea of God has shown me that one of my idols and one of the big problems I've had is this fear of losing. I hate to lose so much. I was competitive as a kid, and I hate to lose. It's so much more stronger than winning for me. And then I had to realize one of the verses I was focusing on was, don't be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, so that you will know the will of God, that true, perfect, good, and pleasing will of God. And so the idea of transforming my mind into thinking of playing the game not to lose is more fear-based. And so as I'm driven by fear, the very thing that I'm fearful of, I end up manifesting, which is loss. I do a lot of day trading too. And so I see that formulating in my thoughts, and talk about psychological and mental warfare when you're doing day trading. That's a whole nother ball game. But anyway, it's this idea of now reshifting, and I've been kind of really thinking about my purpose, my life mission. And so one of the things that triggered my mind was, I was reading the Miracle Morning, where he talks about that you create your purpose. You don't just wait for your purpose to come to you. And he says you can start small. You don't have to make this difficult. So I've shifted my purpose, and instead of playing not to lose, now I'm playing to win or learn. And that's my mantra. And so that's where I'm at today. And to me, the meditations is the accumulation of all of that stuff. But it's right. It's that focus. So throughout the day, I'm focusing on a verse, or I'm focusing on something that I feel like God has revealed to me. And sometimes it may not happen that morning. I may pray something, ask something. I may not get it for another week or two. And then the light bulb goes on. And it's just kind of a cool experience. So I don't like doing any yoga or any of that kind of stuff. And so, like I said, I don't really call it meditation necessarily. It's just learning to live the law of
Action.
The
Action.
No, the law of the spirit of life in Christ is what sets me free, not the law of sin and death. And so the way I look at that, it's looking at the law of sin and death is all about doing versus being, and just allowing me to be who God has created me to be. And there's where the freedom lies. So I'll leave it at that. All
right. Beautiful. I'm happy you're able to take it into your space, that it speaks to you from your place of religion. And that's, I'm happy you're able to see that correlation, that it is a meditation, and that you're focusing on one thing, and that you're opening yourself up, we say to grace. And so that is a beautiful thing. And if there are people here that are not religious or don't have that kind of faith, that's fine. This is one form of meditation, and beautifully articulated by Scott, and he's sharing his experience. And thank you for that. Let's hear from Melinda. We have a lot of hands up, so I'm not going to speak too much after each one. I'm just going to go da, 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 so everybody can have a say. Melinda.
So similar to Scott's experience, I kind of struggled with the concept of meditation and kind of the couscous and granola hippie dippy stuff. But I started watching like different meditation videos on YouTube, and I found one it's like the Yoga Adrienne lady, but she does one about being still and finding stillness. And it just goes along with that, be still and know that I am God. And that was one that actually I was able to actually feel a difference, not just like, is this going to be over yet? What am I thinking about? Stop thinking. I'm thinking. Why am I not thinking? I need to stop thinking, right? Going through that little thing where I was actually able to stop thinking, because I don't ever stop thinking or talking.
Love that. I love that. Thank you for reminding us also that there are so many videos on YouTube and just, Spotify and whatever that we can listen to and put something on, and then we're guided. So thank you for that. Alec.
Hello.
Yeah.
Okay, so you had mentioned that there are different forms of meditation, and sometimes, like, I know a lot of people's interpretation of meditation, like you said, is the whole Buddha, sitting down and yay, peace, whatever. But you did also say there are many different forms, and sometimes being active can be a form of meditation. And I do feel now that I have been able to I just started working out again. So that to me is my meditation. And I'm not the quiet person, so I do have to listen to like an inspirational video or just another video of somebody working out to go ahead and keep me on that level. It's just a way for me to go ahead and slow my thought process and focus on one thing. And my focus isn't so much on, oh, I need to do this, I need to do that. My focus is strictly on, okay, I need to work out for another 10 minutes. And then I work out for another 10 minutes. And then it changes. Okay, you know what? I'm still a little aggravated. Let me give it another 20. And that's kind of just, it's helped me to think a lot clearer. And so, yeah, with that, I mean, I'll pass on. I know you did have a lot of hands up, so please do let other people express.
Thank you, Alec. Yeah, and thank you for expressing your opinion about like the quiet meditation. It's not for you. Somebody else said it's guided meditation, not for me. So great that we have all these options and you find the one that is for you. And I like that you said the 10 and then the 10 and the 10. That's often the way to do it. Go for 30 seconds, then go for a minute, then go for 2 minutes. You know, don't make it like, oh, now I have to sit for 20 minutes and how am I going to do it? Or oftentimes we'll say we have to go work out for an hour. An hour sounds like such a long time. If we just do 10 minutes and then if we want, we stay in another 10, another 15, another 20. So thank you for that. Patricia, I get dragged in to say things anyways. So I get excited here. Yes.
I'm so glad that you did this class today, Karen, because I was one of those people that thought that meditation was the Buddha thing, sitting there with your hands like this, you know. Right. And I've been listening to everybody talk, and I realized that I've been doing it since I was a little girl in different ways. My favorite part of the day before I went to school was when my daddy would come home. He would go into the living room and sit down in his big comfy chair. Well, he would turn on the radio first or his record player. We had one of these buffet type big dresser thingies, and that was actually the stereo, the record player and the radio. Huge. And you had to have all this stuff to do that. But he would put on big band music, and I loved all that kind of music then. But I would sit in his lap, and he would have his Jack and Coke, and I would have my Coca-Cola, and we'd sit there and we'd just relax and rest. And he would always say, okay, I'll bet today that you can't stay still for more than 2 minutes. And the bet was not betting anything. It was just, I bet you can't do it, And he started, and I remember I ended up, my longest time was 10 minutes. And I thought I had not moved a muscle. And he said that my little pinky was doing this. And I didn't even know it. But anyway, I get older. And one of the ways that I would clear my brain would be I twirled rifles in high school. And I went to a lot of different schools and taught other schools how to do some of the things that I did. And I was the first in our state and some of the big bands around to do a quad, throwing the rifle up in the air. Now they all do quads, but it was kind of new then. But I would get my rifle and I would just twirl right, left for like 2 hours, just straight twirling. And because my brain would settle down and I could just think about it, because I wrote a lot of the band shows and a lot of the rifle shows. And so that's how I would do it, was sit there and just think about all that stuff. And then I got to be a senior in high school, and we went to the First Baptist Church. I lived in a very small town. You only had one Baptist church, the Presbyterian Church and the Methodist Church, and then you had the Catholic and the Jewish church. It was 5 churches or 5 well, synagogue or what, I don't know how to call that, but 5 religious places to go to. Well, I went to the First Baptist, and I got mad because every time I go to Sunday school, all they would do is pray about going playing football that weekend. And I didn't think that's what you needed to be praying for. So I told my preacher I couldn't come to church anymore for that. And he said, okay, get on your horse and go to your favorite place. Well, I think I've already told y'all about this one time. I would ride up there on Sunday morning and I would sit on my little hill, and I'd just sit there and just think about the beauty of the world. Then I got in the military and doing morning exercise at 4:00 in the morning. Doing that stuff, and that's where your brain kind of settles down, because you're owning yourself and you've got to keep going. Then I broke my neck and my back, and I had to figure out a way to stop the pain, because you can't take pain medicine if you're going to fly. And why they let me fly with a broken neck, I don't know, but they did. So anyway, I learned biorhythms. And I was thinking, biorhythms is a type of meditation too, because I would sit there and I would relax my toes and tighten my toes, relax toes, tighten toes. And I would do that all the way up my body until my body was just basically blah. It couldn't move. And that was one way of stopping my pain all in my back. And also, like Scott said, Scott, you reminded me of this, is before I got to my head, about my neck way, I was asleep. I never got up past my neck. But I thought, and so I've been doing those for years because I do have a lot of pain and I don't want to take all the narcotics. They want to give me a morphine pump, and I told them they were crazy. I'm not doing that, you know. And so that's how I control my pain. When I start hurting really bad is I just go lie down somewhere and I do that, and it relaxes my whole body. It relaxes the nerves, which don't push against, relaxes the muscles, which don't push against the nerves, and the nerves stop the pain, you know. And so I'm just really excited to know that that's one way, because when you're doing that, your brain is focused in here. You're not thinking about all the junk going on in the world, all the bad stuff, and even the good stuff. Your brain is not cluttered. And so I've forgotten to do that a lot lately. And that's why also I want to thank you, Karen, because I think that will help me. I've been needing that because, like you said, my brain goes all over the place and it doesn't stop. And because of that, I can't sit down and think about, what's the word I'm trying to say? Produce thoughts or come up with creative ideas on what I want to do with my mugs and stuff, because my brain is either on the TV, which I have to turn off, or if it's on the wars going on all over the world and I'm worried about all of our people over there, you know, or either I'm worried about, I don't know, just silly things that go on in my head. So I'm just really, now I'm going to go back. And I'm like you, second, Scott. I'm looking over here on the other thing, is that I forget also that I am a Christian. So I will say that. I sometimes I'll talk to God and God will tell me, shh, just quit thinking. You know, you're thinking too hard, or either just relax and let me handle it. Put it in the God box. So if I have a problem, I have this little box, I write it down, throw it in the God box. Sometimes he takes care of it. Sometimes he says, nope, that's your problem. You need to take care of it. So anyway, I'm going to put that together with my biorhythms and check back with me in about a month and we'll see how it's going.
Sounds good. Good. Thanks.
Thank you.
You're awesome. Crystal, let's hear from you, Nadea, and then we got Ann. And
Hi. Patricia, you just said everything I was thinking about. That's just so perfect. Basically what happened, my meditation started when I was probably in my early 20s. I had anxiety so bad. I couldn't go from point A to point B really without pulling over or having an attack and everything like that. But that was the biorhythms and the meditation that really helped stop and breathe, and at night to get my squeezing your toes, squeezing your fingers. And, you know, I continued doing that for a long time. And that really, really was so helpful. And I forgot about it for a while, and I'm getting back into it now because I'm, you know, with all the thoughts and everything, same as you, Patricia. So it's really good that you brought that up, because I was just going to say that was my journey, and I'm so glad that I found it. And actually my parents went out and found a book back in the day from America, and they ordered it for me because it was so new back in, this would be in the 80s, I guess. No, it would be in the 90s. Anyways, it was very new. So that's how I learned all of that. And as far as the religion part of it, and I do believe in God. So when I think of that part of meditation, that's me speaking to God. I talk to him. So I see them as two individual things, kind of like you, Patricia. There's the conversation, and then there's me, my personal introspective is my own personal thing. And that's how I deal with it. And that's my way of meditating. And I'm so glad I found it and this group.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Crystal. Glad to hear that resonated with you, biorhythms.
Yeah.
And I saw you put in the chat there.
Yeah, that's a really lovely meditation. It's a guided meditation, and they just show the beach and the waves lapping in and out, and it's very restful because some people, especially Christians, might wonder, is meditation something that I can do? But there are some versions of meditation that are perfectly fine for Christians. And I find this beach and waves meditation very refreshing. And also I think the one of the Chinese monk who meditates on a beach is also quite a good one too. And I wanted to share the story when I was teaching English in South Korea at that time. It would have been about 2018 or 2019. And I was teaching high school boys, and everyone was very tense and stressed out because at that time there was a rumor that President Trump was going to be sending his warships to South Korea in the next 24 hours or 48 hours. So we were as all wound up as anything. And, you know, it was very difficult to teach at all. So luckily I had already found out about meditation. So I put up a picture of a peach on the projector, and I started the classes saying, okay, we're going to learn how to meditate today. So this was something very unusual for class, but it met the students' needs. And so, you know, every day for about a week we would meditate, and then after the danger was over, they would come to class and say, peach, 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 because they liked it and they wanted to meditate on the peach. And I noticed how effective it was. Everyone calmed right down. It was really, really fantastic. And there was a book I got in the library. It was something about the calm. Anyway, it was written by an Australian author, and he said when he was growing up, the weather was extremely hot, and he learned how to meditate to deal with the intense heat. So he would sit out in the forest and sit under a tree and just meditate, and it gave practical examples of how to do it. So I used to sit outside and try that, and it works. And when I was in Thailand, it was extremely hot, and it was way too hot. So I found myself applying the same meditation just to deal with the intense heat while I waited for my train.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing your experiences with meditation. That's awesome. We will call it a week. It was a wonderful week. I will leave you with one idea. There's also laughter meditation. You kind of reminded me when you said with kids. I used to do a laughter meditation with my kids. You know, it's funny. Guide there that would just be like, and you'd make yourself laugh. So meditation knows no end. You can Google it, you can look it up, you can find different videos, and, making yourself laugh, smile, move, and just be in this peaceful state with yourself is what it's about, so that you can sharpen all your skills. Thank you all for being here. I believe there is a help class after this. Is it? Yes. We're going to say yes after this. I think so.
Yes.
Usually what happens. Okay, great. After this call, I'm going to end this session. And then if you'd like some help from the community, we have our wonderful community members who come back on the exact same link that you came in to see this call now. You would join afterwards and you can ask questions. You can share your meditation stories if you have more to share. And, I wish you all a wonderful, wonderful weekend. John Lavinia will be back with us on Monday, and I will see you all on Tuesday. Have a great weekend. Bye, everyone.